KwaZulu-Natal Premier Nomusa Dube-Ncube has promised to tackle crime, the energy crisis and unemployment in her province. She recently delivered her 2023 State of the Province address in Pietermaritzburg. KZN, as we know, has been rocked by floods, by mass shootings and several other issues in recent months. Well, the Premier joins us this morning to unpack her SOPA and to respond, Premier, good morning, it's great to see you, to respond as well to a lot of the criticism that has come out insofar as your State of the Province is concerned. The DA, for once, saying that you've made a whole range of promises and that perhaps it's going too far, that you've not given us an accurate reflection of the trouble KZN is in.
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning to your viewers at home. Indeed, if somebody doesn't want to see the good work that is being done, it would be easy for them to say what they are saying, but also if you aren't not on the stage, you're not the one that is supposed to work for the people. We have been working very hard, really, in the path to economic recovery following the adverse impact of all our disasters, our COVID, our July unrest, and of course, unfortunately, our unemployment has really remained very stubborn. But we have not shifted from our resolute to really work on our reconstruction and transformation and recovery that aims at attracting investment, that aims at investing in the infrastructure, developing our people, assisting the small, medium enterprises, looking at the localization value chains, as well as dealing with issues of crime, corruption and energy crisis that we are facing as a province. We have, tabled a very clear program that we have in the energy security areas, such as ensuring that we establish the war room in terms of the Emergency Act or Disaster Act, in ensuring that all our departments will be embarking on the program of using alternative energy measures or systems, energy efficient systems. We've been working very hard to ensure that the water infrastructure that was disrupted, almost all the water infrastructure that was disrupted during the floods, is up and running. Almost all the sanitation infrastructure that was disrupted is up and running. But also when you talked about the energy, we have about 5 plants in the areas of Richards Bay, each one of them that is going to be contributing towards the grid. We also announced the first of its kind battery energy saving project that is going to be in Umsunduzi under Umgungundlovu municipality, which is going to be storing, working with Eskom, of course. It's an Eskom project, but it's going to be having a capacity to store energy that could last the small town more than 4 hours.
Premier, do you mind me interrupting you there? Because yes, I want to deal with the issues sort of one at a time. You've spoken now already about challenges insofar as water. You've moved on to energy. But can we focus for a moment on challenges insofar as water is concerned? It was just over this past festive season in December when several beaches in your province had to close because of the continuous sewage spillages. KZN Water, by all accounts, is in a crisis mode. I mean, what is the plan here? Because vandalism and theft of infrastructure remains a big challenge for you.
No, definitely, Michelle. In December, you are correct that there were other beaches that were not open because the work of repairing one of the biggest, pipe, which is in the northern areas of our province, had not been completed. That pipe was a very big pipe that was, destroyed by the floods, and that pipe has now been completed, and that pipe, the water or the beaches in the north are now operational, and the water is being checked on the regular basis, that it is, conducive for people to use those beaches. Even independent, working with the independents such as the universities, we've asked them to come in because we want people to tell us whether those beaches, the municipality has really worked very hard. And we are, of course, supporting the municipality in ensuring that this work is happening. So when we talk about that infrastructure, all that infrastructure, as I said in my statement, has now been completely, rehabilitated, and it's all systems go. As we talk, we are preparing ourselves as a province that during this Easter period, our people can enjoy their time here in our beaches.
Premier, is it a particularly difficult ask for your province to get back on its feet post-COVID-19, just given what KZN has been through, even aside from the pandemic, insofar as the floods are concerned, the looting of 2021, the various issues insofar as infrastructure is concerned, your unemployment numbers are also rising at a more alarming rate than the rest of the country. Is it a bigger mountain for you to climb?
Of course, Michelle, we're not going to lie and say it's an easy work to do because talking to you right now, we still have not completed other infrastructure such as the roads, as particularly the smaller roads. Even the other roads such as the N2 project, the M4, the bigger roads have been completed, but there are smaller roads that we are still working on. The other issue is that you are correct that we're not going to be waking up, after the floods in a year and be able to recover, the work of 3 years ago. That is why we are happy, though, that the ground that we are covering is quite substantial to enable us now to master those jobs that have been lost, whether it's in the tourism, whether it's in the various sectors. That is why, if you look at our numbers, Michelle, it is very clear from the database that we have that talks about the hard numbers, the warm bodies. It clearly shows that we are on the recovery, mode. We've looked at our stats in the last quarter, for instance, of the small and medium enterprises that we are supporting that are creating jobs. Your EPWP project that is also assisting so that when people are still looking for permanent jobs, but at least they do have, temporary jobs or job opportunities that they are able to get to. All of that is showing us that more and more numbers are getting into the mainstream employment, or more and more, small and medium enterprises. Government is assisting to recover their businesses, but to get back to their feet.
And then there's the issue of the levels of violence in KwaZulu-Natal, Premier. It was the site of where a.k.a. Kenan Forbes, the South African rapper, was gunned down on a very popular street in Durban. It's also being called the province of hitmen. What's your plan to try and clamp down on this?
Well, we're very sad, Michelle. I don't want to lie with what happened to our, international star there. But we are working with the police very hard. The police are making arrests, Michelle. As we're talking to you, they are telling us that the prisons are full. The amount of people that get arrested are huge numbers, which means that there is work that is being done in terms of arrest. What we need to do, which we have set ourselves to do, is to work with the communities to fight crime. Because the fact of the matter is that as government alone or police alone cannot win the battle of fighting crime without communities coming into that battleground, because it's the people that know where the criminals are. It's the people that know who are the bad police. Of course, there are very good police out there who are doing sterling work, who are putting their lives, on the line, risking their lives. That we need to work with those police in pushing back the criminals. But it's the communities as well who must stand up and say, we're not going to surrender our lives to criminals and live in fear. From our side, we are putting resources to support the work of the police. As I'm talking to you, we ask each department, because, the policing, as you would know, it is a national competence, but we cannot sit and fold our hands. We ask each department to contribute, 10 million in the kitty, including our entities, and all in all, we're going to have about 150 million in total that we are going to be using to boost the fleet of the police, to boost the camera systems of our municipalities, and linking that with our major roads, our freeways, so that the cameras that are monitoring the freeways are able to link with the ones that are on the local roads. Because at the moment there is that disjuncture that once a person goes up to the freeway, the other cameras are not linked to the other ones. But we are also boosting our crime fighting prevention mechanisms by ensuring that we have a cohort of young, community safety ambassadors that we've used before very successfully. Those are the people that walk the ground, that communicate with the communities, but also that work with the police to ensure that there is visible police in all the areas. Their work is to ensure that as well, they report even the policing work, but also communities know that in case of emergency, there are also people, but many of them as well, Michelle, they have volunteered themselves even before this project. What we are doing with this project is that we are now putting resources so that they have proper, jackets, they have proper, recording devices, they have proper, lighting mechanisms for them, again, to be able to assist in the fight against crime. And what we need now, even in fighting gender-based violence, because this is one of the areas, we have started already in the areas such as Inanda and Umlazi to put those floodlights that will assist us. We've also started putting the panic button. Even 2 years ago, we started with this project. With this money now that we've got, we are going to be able to massify this project so that those projects, those areas where we need to put floodlights so that we have proper lights, those areas that we need more cameras, we have those cameras, the areas where we need more cars to patrol and help the police, we are going to be having those cars, training of the community members in the community safety, but also strengthening the street combatants and all those fighting crime mechanisms are now being put back.
Premier in KZN Nomusa Dube-Ncube, let me thank you for your time this morning, and we do hope to check in with you, Premier, on the whole raft of plans that you have put in place. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this Thursday morning.